Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Chain Gang Sports Show.
Let's go down to Tom and Brent.
We're at the Mile High Stadium for the Broncos and Patriots AFC Championship Game.
What up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm freezing. Mile High is a cold place.
Yes, it is.
It's good to be us.
Sub-freezing temperatures.
That's it. What do you think? What'd you think of the Miami-Indiana game?
Man, honestly, one of the best national championship games I've seen in probably over a decade.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And I say two words. Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, wow.
I love that kid. That little getting that one first down on the goal line, man. And then when he got in, when he did the spin, took all the hits. Crazy.
What a call, man. Like, Cignetti, it's 4th and 5. They have an opportunity to go up by 6, and he says, we're going to go up by 7. I'm sorry, they're going to score a touchdown, go up by 10, man, and put a lot of pressure on Miami, man.
Sure did. It sure did. And we all know Carson Beck loves pressure.
Yeah. Kirby Smart will tell you that.
Yeah. First thing I thought about when I saw Beck throw the interception, I go, Brent right now is gone. Sure enough, my phone went off, and it's you going, Carson Beck and Beck.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I texted my brother right before then too. I said, "This is where Carson Beck throws his pick right now." And what happened?
Sure man, and you called it a week ago.
Man, you know what it is? Carson Beck. I like Carson Beck as a quarterback, but I watched him at Georgia. You know, he sat behind the quarterback, Stetson Bennett. You know, he couldn't get on the field. Then he gets on the field and he fumbles the ball. He throws a lot of picks. He just too many turnovers. Man.
You know, he's the college version of who? Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great analogy, man.
I see. I'm telling you, brother.
You know what?
Stick with me. We'll go a long way.
This is funny. So what did we say? We said Miami would have to have Fletcher run over 100 yards. He did. Yeah. Malachi Toney catch over 100 yards receiving. He did. Carson Beck throw for over 200 yards. He did. And they still came up short. They still lost. That just goes to show how good Mendoza was and just how well-rounded of a team Indiana was, man.
Yeah, no question. Cignetti's stamp on that team and Cignetti's stamp on college football in general. That was a signature win for a college that's never been relevant in football, ever.
No.
1940s, I think, was the last time they were even relevant.
Yeah.
And now, here they are, national champions, 2 years in a row. I mean, last year they were good. This year, they sealed the deal. Undefeated. Yeah, I mean, undefeated. How awesome.
And you know what? And it's not a fluke, because just like you said, they were 11-1 last year, and they lost to Notre Dame, and I believe the first playoff game that they ever played in, and they lost to Notre Dame. And then this year, they're back again. 12-0 in the regular season. They go and beat Ohio State in the championship game, and then they go on and knock off one team after another. And now here they are to claim their first national championships. And, the thing is, they're not going away. Next year, they got Josh Hoover, the transfer quarterback from TCU. And I feel like the Big Ten,
Big Ten step is making a stand. Did you hear the phone go off? We just got breaking news. I feel like Adam Schefter right now. We just got a big breaking news. The coach, Minter from San Diego, just became the head coach for the Ravens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
That's a big hire.
That's a huge hire, man. Yeah. The defensive coordinator under Jim Harbaugh for the University of Michigan won a national championship with them. Right. And he was, I think the Chargers had the 5th best defense in the NFL. So I feel like that's a great hire for them.
It is a great hire, and the coaching carousel, which has gone, Harbaugh, of course, being the biggest. I think Tomlin's going to take a couple years off. I really believe he's not going to come back and coach. But taking the Giants' job with the Belichick rumors, and I think Harbaugh was a great hire. I think Harbaugh is still a great coach. I just think it got stale.
Yeah, I do too.
In Baltimore. It just got stale. And Minter's going to just bring fresh blood. And Lamar Jackson, you got a great quarterback to start your program.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like Minter, it kind of like carries over the identity of the Baltimore Ravens, with Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. I feel like they're known for defense.
And they weren't this year.
They really weren't, man.
That was horrible.
They were in the 20s, maybe. I mean, they at one point, I think they were giving up over 30 points a game this year. It's just not good, man.
No, and Brent, I could tell you, man, for a team that's traditionally over the last 10 years, easily 10 years, they've been in the top 5 in defense. They just kept on plugging in different guys, and they kept that Ravens, defensive, hard hitting, just like the AFC North. I mean, that's what that division's all about. And so I think it's good, man. I think I'm glad for Harbaugh because I like him. I'm glad for Minter because I think the Ravens is a good way to start. You start out with Lamar Jackson as your quarterback. the defense needs help, that's what he's there for.
Yeah, and you know what, man? I kind of like reminiscent. I look back, and like the 2005, 2008, Super Bowls that the Pittsburgh Steelers won, and I remember how they had to get there against the Baltimore Ravens. And some of those games, some like the 2008 AFC Championship game with Ben Roethlisberger going up against Flacco, those are some of the hardest hitting football games I've ever seen.
And the crazy thing is too, Derrick Henry, because of the way he takes care of his body, I mean, his off season work is insane. It's it's legendary almost. Like TB12 and LeBron, they all the hyperbarics, and they spend a lot of money on their bodies, and their diets and everything. And so I think Derrick Henry's another couple of years. I think he's got 2 years left, even though he's on the older side, but he's so big.
Yeah.
And I think with Lamar Jackson, I think it'll come back. I think Baltimore will be back quicker than anybody thinks.
Yeah.
Sorry if I just.
I think if they get back, they get back to their fundamentals and get back to the playing like the way Baltimore football. They got definitely a Hall of Fame running back and more than likely a Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm sure he's already in.
Yeah.
But get back to their roots, get that defense, shored up a little bit, and I feel like Baltimore's right there.
Yeah, and you know what? A great segue into the AFC Championship game and with New England and Denver, because Denver's in the same boat. You lose Bo Nix in the last series of the the divisional game, and what do you have now? You have Sean Payton, a great coach. It's just proven. And with a guy like Jared Stidham, which he's been a kind of a journeyman. I think he was drafted that they thought he could be that. When he was with Auburn, how good he was, and now all of a sudden it's the same thing back to the Baltimore days. You're asking your quarterback to do one thing: don't turn the ball over. Don't make any mistakes. Sean Payton will create the game plan to do that, and Denver's defense is good. Second in the NFL, right?
Yeah, man. Exactly. They're the number 2 defense in all of the NFL. The Houston Texans were the number 1 defense in the playoffs, and you could tell New England. So I look at it like this: New England put up only 16 points against the Houston's defense. So the Broncos, I know Bo Nix is gone and he's hurt, which is crazy.
Tragedy.
He threw a touchdown pass after the
with a broken ankle.
That's pretty incredible. But so I'm looking right now. So the Broncos are the number 1 defense left in the playoffs. They give up 278 yards a game. The Patriots now, they have a great defense too. I mean, they give up. They're the 8th ranked defense.
Yeah,
so.
no slouch.
No slouch.
Vrabel.
And it's what's interesting is, like you just said, like the only thing Jared Stidham has to do, the quarterback for the Broncos, is do not turn over the ball. Do what C.J. Stroud. Do that complete opposite of what C.J. Stroud did. All C.J. Stroud had to do was not turn the ball over. That defense could have won them the game.
Yeah, no question. I mean, and that's the way it was in the first half. I just thought, all they got to do is don't make mistakes. 4 picks in the first half. I mean, that's last week. But I could tell you this: reigning defensive MVP, Patrick Surtain the third, or whatever the second. He's whatever suffix it is, But Surtain is a shutdown guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a shutdown guy, and they're gonna put him on your best receiver. So Stephon Diggs, I don't expect a lot of things from him because Surtain is a shutdown guy, and the Denver defense does it again. They hit hard, they come hard, and they've done a great job over there. Vance. Vance, the defensive coordinator. Denver's defensive coordinator is legit, and Denver's defense is legit.
Yeah, honestly, the blueprint for this game, I think New England's going to score probably about the same as what they scored against the Texans. They're very similar defenses. They're about 1 yard difference on the year. So the question to me is, I feel like New England's going to probably put up about 17 or 20 points. Can Denver score more than 20 points?
That's a big ask.
Yeah, it is a big ask.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it kind of like a 21-17 game. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a defensive game because I feel like Denver going into this game, Denver's going to look at it and say, hey, this is how we're going to have to win because their offense, they're not going to have Bo Nix. They're going to have Jared Stidham, and you know what? He could surprise us and throw for 250, maybe 2 touchdowns, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I agree. I agree.
You're asking a lot, and you know what they say? This is the first time since Roger Staubach, since 1970, that a quarterback hasn't played all year, and then his first game starting of the year is going to be in the playoffs. The last time that happened was Roger Staubach. The difference is Roger Staubach started the year before and won the Super Bowl.
Look at you throwing Roger Staubach things out. That's scary. Okay, so here's the other thing. The Vance, it was going to drive me crazy. Vance Joseph, just in case.
Vance Joseph, yeah.
Just in case we needed to sum that up, because then your age shows. And speaking of age, we had makeup artists in here today to take care of the shines on our face and our head. So, Saray York, thank you for the makeup.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm a proud man that can wear makeup and a pink sweater. So just so it's known. But no, moving forward, again, we talk about Denver's tall task, and that's. Don't forget the running game. New England's got a running game. Drake May is dangerous with his legs. So I mean, this is New England. As much as I've been giving them heck, as I wear a New England jacket because I lost a bet to our producer. I'm wearing this New England jacket, and there's a reason because I really believe they're going to win the game anyway. So I think that Vrabel combination. Listen, I still think they got the easiest path in the world, and unicorns popped up for them.
Yeah,
with the quarterback breaking his ankle and the easy schedule, but they're there.
Yeah, they are there,
and Vrabel will represent the AFC well. That's just the fact because of the structure.
I feel like it for some reason. I just feel like New England. They're just catching all the breaks this year. So, like you pointed out, they had the easiest schedule. Their opponents only had like a 33% win percentage. And now in the playoffs, they played against Houston, who did have the number one defense, but C.J. Stroud pretty much gifted them that game.
No question.
Some of that had to do with the defense.
Again,
but
I know.
And now they're going against Denver, the number one seed. But here's the kicker. They don't have their starting quarterback who played MVP caliber football a year, and now they're going to have to go play against.
Because he was in the conversation.
He was
probably, definitely in the conversation. Yeah. I mean, the yards that, May threw for 4,378 yards.
Yeah.
With 31 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Those are some good numbers.
Heck of a year, man.
I mean, that's a heck of a year. And, what Denver's lost in this whole thing is that 3,931 yards, 25 TDs, and 11 picks.
Solid year.
Oh, gosh,
Very solid year.
Gosh, yeah. And, number one seed in the AFC. And this is what's going to help propel Denver, again, is like we're sitting here right here in Mile High Stadium. I mean, it's this home field is real, too.
Yeah. And you know what? You remember when Denver, the last time they won the Super Bowl back in 2015, they had Peyton Manning, but people forget they didn't win that Super Bowl because of Peyton. Peyton had one of his worst statistical years.
Absolutely.
And they played Cam Newton. They ended up winning 24-10. They didn't let Cam Newton run for anything, pass for nothing. They smothered the Carolina. Von Miller.
Yeah,
Super Bowl MVP. They went on to, and everyone remembers Peyton Manning.
Von Miller.
It was Von Miller that year.
Von Miller.
And
that's all you can say is Von Miller.
Can they duplicate that type of same?
It's possible, and that's what we have, and that's the matchup that you're going to see. And, so next we got the Rams and the old
Seahawks. Okay,
third time they're playing. They've split it. The second time they played, 38-37, Seattle won. An incredible football game. And this is what you want. I mean, this is a third time matchup. The fact that they've split it means that this game's going to be it's going to be evenly matched. But I just believe Seattle and the 12th man is going to be a tough beat.
Yeah, and we were talking about the other, like the Broncos and their defense, and we were talking about the Patriots and their defense. This is where I feel like the defenses actually make a huge difference right here. So the Seahawks defense is the 6th best defense in the NFL. They give up 285 yards a game. For the Rams, as good as Matthew Stafford is and as good as Puka Nacua is, the Rams defense is... this year they were ranked
18,
17. They give up almost 50 more yards total.
Yeah. See, and that's what I think is the difference. Again, we talk about offense wins games, defense wins championships.
That's right.
And Seattle's defense is good enough to win a championship. I truly believe that. The game that they 38-37, that was Seattle was missing 2 of their 3 starters in the back on the back half, and that was a big loss for them. And you saw what happens when they come back. Look what they did to San Francisco. They annihilated them and didn't let them score.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, they have a field goal, 2 field goals, maybe?
Yeah, 41-6. They smothered the 49ers, man.
They did. And that's what their defense does. With those 2 sophomores, sophomores in the NFL sense, but I mean, these guys, their back half, you got Leonard Williams from, let's give a shout out to Mainland High School.
That's right.
Daytona, baby. And the Jets always get a little pop on the show here. Gave him up as usual. Yeah, number one guy, their number one pick, third pick overall, and the Jets give him up. So just typical.
Yeah, I feel like the Seahawks right now, they are probably playing as the best team right now in the NFL. Maybe New England playing second, but the Seahawks seem to be hitting on all cylinders right now, offensively, defensively.
Yeah.
And like you just said, they're in Seattle, which is a huge advantage.
And let's go down this list. Sam Darnold, 4,448 yards, 25 TDs, 14 interceptions. Not great numbers, but Kenneth Walker, 1,027 yards. And Smith Njigba, 1,793 yards.
What a year, man.
What a year, especially because you were talking about Nakua, who no slouch, 17-15 finished with.
Wow.
I mean, that's just incredible that everything was about Nakua, but Njigba turned around and had some year.
Yeah.
And Donald was, he kept him in it. They had a good, Charbonnet's a big loss.
That's true. That's true.
He's a big man. He's their red zone guy.
Zach Charbonnet, he's part of that 1-2. That punch. And
thunder and lightning.
He is going to be out. That's right.
Yeah.
You know what? You got the Rams offense that looks spectacular at times, but I just don't think that the Rams are going to have that much success against Seattle, especially not how the defense is playing. And I feel like Sam Darnold, he does have a lot of turnovers, and I just feel like if he can keep the turnovers to a minimum, maybe 1 or 0 would be, best bet. But if he could just keep the turnovers down and they run the ball, I feel like that defense can carry them, onto the Super Bowl. So
and the second time they met in November was the Rams won 21-19, barely held on. The game was Kenneth Walker was out, so it was a game where So then we get a 38-37 game that was insane. So I think the third time's a charm. I think we're going to have a good football game. I truly believe that. I mean, we talk about the Njigba and Walker, but the other side of the ball, Kyron Williams and Corum in the backfield for them, and then MVP, I think hands down, Matthew Stafford, 47 TDs, almost 5,000 yards. I mean, what an insane year.
Yeah.
And weather permitting, but that, again, it just comes down to the defense. The 17th ranked Rams, I don't know if they can hold. All Sam Darnold's they're asking him to do is don't make mistakes and be you. And he because he has the potential to stretch the field. He can throw. He can take the lid off. He can go long. He's got a big arm. He's a good player. He's a heck of a player.
Yeah.
He's still young too. It's crazy.
Yeah, just the way Seattle looked against the 49ers last week.
That was unbelievable.
It just looked they looked like a Super Bowl team right there. And I just see the Rams having a very hard time playing them, and that's I just have a gut feeling that the Rams are going to have a hard time all day.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I just think that when it comes down to these games, this is what championship football is all about. This is what we look forward to. Sunday, it's going to be great. You know what? Another breaking news is with the that I got 2 days ago, but it was still big news. Was Mike McDaniel signed with the Chargers as an offensive coordinator. From Miami, right?
You know what? I feel like that's a great pickup.
He's the strangest dude in America.
He is. My dad thinks that he should be like somewhere crunching numbers somewhere.
Yeah, with his Uggs and his capris, which is totally odd.
Yeah.
I mean, if my head coach came running out in capris and a pair of Uggs, I would definitely feel like, okay, we got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, you know what though? That's one thing that the Chargers, we attributed a lot of that to the offensive line being hurt, but Jim Harbaugh went out and he got honestly one of the best offensive minds in all NFL. So
says the guy in the pink sweater. Listen. First of all, if you're a gambling person and you watch the show, you're probably loving us and ready to send us. We'll give you the address after the show. You can mail us any kind of check, whatever you think is right. But we've given you 14 winners out of 16 games, which is pretty insane. And I think that's and we'll start with that. As far as I think Seattle with the what is it? They're -4.5. I think Seattle is the pick. I think Seattle's the pick. I think they take the 17th ranked team is not going to come in to Seattle and do anything.
I'm with you, bud. I feel like Seattle covers that game at 4.5. I feel like Seattle is going to cover the spread and win that game outright, but I also think that they're going to cover the point spread too. I like Seattle in that game too.
Yeah, actually, even now, just to change another.
It's 2.5, isn't it?
It's 2.5. Yeah,
I think
it started out at 4.5 during the beginning of the week.
You know what? I even like that even more now.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Definitely more than that now. And then the other one that went to the one that did go to 4.5 was the Denver Patriot game. And I think That's a tough one because I think the Patriots, 4.5. I think Denver covers.
Yeah, I
But I think Denver is not going to be blown out. Not at home.
I'm with you too. I feel like it's going to be a slugfest that game, and I feel like it's going to be like a 17-20 type game.
Yeah,
I feel like 4.5 is too many points. You know how
I think,
am.
yeah.
I don't like the large spreads in the playoffs, especially losing their starting quarterback. So it's going to be a low scoring game regardless. But the reason why I really like that game too is New England only put up 16 points to a defense, almost a clone. So they're only a 1 yard difference in total defense. So I feel like New England's going to struggle offensively. I think they win, but I don't think they cover.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I just don't see, in the other part, I think the third bet that we were going to talk about was the under.
The under.
I think the under in that game, the under 41.5.
41.5?
Yeah. I think, like you said, 2017 sounds like to me.
I think so too. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be close. That's why these guys, I don't know what they do in Vegas, but they're amazing on how they come up with these spreads, and they're so close. I'll never forget first bet I ever put in. Nebraska was minus 40 points at home against Pacific on a Thursday night ESPN game. 40 points. So I take the 40 points. I'm like, I'll take the 40, and it's a push. It was like 43-3, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" I get 40 points, and they do know.
Yeah,
it's so close. It's just unbelievable.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good at what they do.
Yeah, they are, and so. Well, that's the I mean, if we're gonna go talk about anything else, I mean, the coaching carousel. I mean, Pittsburgh has to make they have to fill their void. And I don't know. I think there's some quality people out there for that job as well. And I think that Brian Flores is a guy that's been interviewing, in quite a few places. But, I think another great hire was the Titans. The Titans, who they ended up getting
Robert Saleh.
Saleh, yeah.
Saleh,
49.
Yeah, you know what? I agree. Great hire, and I feel like he got a raw deal at the Jets. I just don't feel like the Jets had a very good organization. But look what the 49ers did defensively this year. I feel like a lot of people kind of question it. Cam Ward, they struggled offensively, and they went out and got a defensive-minded coach, but he was on the market. It's kind of hard.
Saleh was the example of being in a program, the Aaron Rodgers project. That's what that was. That cost him, the guy, his Achilles.
Yeah.
The team, the animosity in the locker room because that was going to be their year. Everybody was, hey, listen, we were all talking about Super Bowl, the Jets.
Yeah.
Because of one guy, and he was 40 years old. I mean, what are we doing? That's how we
expectations. They were a little too high.
That's our organization, and in a nutshell. And so
the Giants, I feel like with John Harbaugh, I feel like the Giants hit a home run. He's still in his prime of coaching.
Oh yeah,
and I feel like they stole a coach. I feel like the Giants are going to be set up successfully in the future. I feel like that's a great hire for them.
Yeah, and look at Stefanski. Stefanski. He's a great coach. He's an offensive mind. When he was with Minnesota had those great years, and Stefanski gets the Cleveland job, which he did for 6 years, I think it was.
Yeah.
And, I think he did, it's hard when you finish last in a division, and I understand it's about winning. You give somebody 5 years, you better win. But he was a victim of some bad stuff. Quarterback, that whole throw $250 million at that knucklehead who likes to get massages and then take advantage happy endings. The guy, right?
Yeah,
you really can't do that.
Deshaun Watson, that's a whole nother
$250 million.
Yeah,
and he was still under indictment for this stuff. I mean, what were you thinking? What are you going to go out and give a guy $250? Well, you're rewarding a guy, so now all of a sudden women are marching all over their stadium.
I would put it up there. It's almost as bad as the Russell Wilson contract too. I feel like Russell Wilson was still making part of that $250 million sitting on the bench. That was a bad contract. There's been a lot of them.
And you can all go back to the one contract that to me in all of sports lives in infamy, and that's the Bobby Bonilla contract.
Oh my God!
Bobby Bonilla gets $1 million a year for the rest of his life. Yeah, he's going to live to like 105.
Back then people said, what kind of contract is this?
Yeah, smart man's contract is what that is.
Some people
because these idiots go out and spend idiots. I mean, these athletes, they go out and they spend gazillion dollars and they got 30 cars. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then 3 houses, and now they're broke.
What a great great thinking, thinking ahead. He deferred all that money for $1 million a year. At the time, they said, yeah, we'll do that. And you know what? Who's the winner now? Bobby Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla. That's so funny with bringing Bobby Bonilla up from the Mets in like 86. That's crazy.
Still paying out now.
Yeah,
when
still
Bonds
getting
was there,
and every time it's the day that he's supposed to get paid, they make a big deal. Bobby Bonilla getting his $1 million just got deposited. It's like, yeah, that's unbelievable. But, everything with baseball now is front-loaded contracts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're talking about because there's going to be a lockout.
Yeah.
That's why these guys are getting everything up front and Bo Bichette getting all that kind of money. But it's all up front because they're front-loaded because this is it.
You know what's crazy?
2 years, they're locked out. They're locking them out. $750 million. Come on.
Yeah, the contracts are out of control right now. When Shohei Ohtani he signed for $700 million, and Terry Scrubble, the starting pitcher, the 2-time Cy Young Award winner, they said his contract is going to be upwards of the $400 to $500 million contract. That's ridiculous.
And that's now. Let's remember this: Ohtani and Kudero, the other Japanese player.
Oh yeah,
they signed 2 days apart. The LA Dodgers, who have bought everything, they used to blame the Yankees for stealing everything. The Dodgers
are paying for him, right?
Oh my gosh, the Dodgers went and signed $750 million for Ohtani, and the next day signed $350 million. So they spent in 2 days on 2 Japanese players $1 billion.
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
That's how we're going to end the show. but a buff, whatever. But, really, baseball, front-loaded contracts, but it's all about the NFL these next 2 weeks. We're going to do the Super Bowl. We got a special guy to help us pick for the Super Bowl winner. I think you're going to love to see our guests. But, so we've out of time. It's another great show, brother.
Thank you, man.
And we got makeup on.
Yes.
Kind of cool.
Thank you, Saray.
Thank you, Saray, again. All right. Peace.